Welcome to Clifton Strengths for Students. Donald Clifton actually created this whole concept around strengths that was based on his work within positive psychology. He really changed the way that we start looking at strengths as well as weaknesses. His concept was, what if we start looking at what's right with people rather than what's wrong with them? How might that change the perspective that we have, especially on career choice? So start thinking about this to yourself. Are you someone, for instance, who talks to people in elevators, airplanes, grocery stores, pretty much wherever you go? What about have a color-coded or otherwise organized closet? What about if you write down a list of things to do and then you actually stick to it? What if you make a list of things to do on the weekends? Or you need to pick someone to race while driving? Or if you're someone like me who asks too many questions? Or what about this? If you push the elevator button just a few times to remind the elevator that you are still there. We have these tendencies in life, but we rarely associate them with strengths. So let's take a quick moment and do an activity. Pick up a pencil or pen and go ahead and write your full name. Once you have written your full name, pause the video and write it with your opposite hand. Once you have written your name with both hands, consider which hand was the strongest hand. Was it that initial hand that you immediately picked up your pencil or pen, or was it that secondary hand? Most likely, it was that first hand that you immediately picked up your pencil or pen. It wasn't the second hand because the second hand, you had to think so much more about the curvature of each letter, about even the direction that you were writing. And even though you were able to most likely write your name with both hands, most likely that first hand was the easiest. So when we start thinking about strengths, think about it in comparison to your handwriting. Think about preference and then the different strengths within that preference. There's not a right or wrong, it just happens to be the way you are. So think about it in terms of that versus a right or wrong answer. So let's briefly talk about talents. So talents are naturally recurring patterns of thought, feeling, or behavior that can be productively applied. Talents indicate the capacity to do something. They are potential strengths, but they're not quite a strength yet. For instance, a talent could include maybe effortlessly and instinctively starting conversations with people, maybe thinking in an orderly or timely manner, being able to easily influence other people, seeing patterns in data, consistently having a positive outlook on life. These are potential talents. But one thing that you have to think about with a talent is also the amount of time that you spend building upon that talent. So when you think about this, a talent might be a potential strength, time's investment, which is all of that practicing and developing. And then a strength is something that's a near perfect positive performance. So something that you've been working on for quite a long time. So when you think about strengths, which do you think would be more helpful to help you be more successful in life? Knowing what your weaknesses are and attempting to improve them, or knowing what your strengths are and attempting to build upon them? The answer is strengths. It's not that we never have to deal with our weaknesses and try to build upon them, but rather when you focus on your strengths and practice those on a daily basis, those are what will help you be more successful in life than continuing to work on your weaknesses. People who focus on their strengths are 3 times as likely to report an excellent quality of life and also 6 times as likely to be engaged in their jobs. So consider that as you're looking at different majors and as well as career paths. So within the strengths, there are 34 unique themes, and this is a list of all of them. Take a moment and review all 34. Within that list of 34, you may or may not see some of the ones that immediately come to mind for you personally. We are now going to look at your results. So take out your major theme report, which you are able to find within your Strengths portal. Take a few minutes, pause the video, and I want you to highlight the words and phrases that make you think, that's me. It exactly describes you. Not everything will describe you within the theme report, but take a few moments to highlight those things that do. So what was your first reaction from your results? When you start looking through the 5 major themes that you have, what kind of new discoveries have you made about yourself? Were they what you expected? To help you process each of your top 5 themes a little bit more, let's work on this activity, my strengths and how I use them. You will notice on this document that you will have different categories. The first category is your signature theme. Go ahead and list that in all 5 of the areas on this sheet. Secondly, put in the description, which you can also find on the handout that we've provided. Then start thinking about what does it enable you to do or empower you to do on a daily basis. And then when or where have you recently used this strength? Again, pause the video and work through all 5 of your top 5 strengths. So when you think about all of these different 34 strengths, they each fall within one of these 4 domains. For instance, the executing domain. These are individuals that make things happen on a regular basis. They have a tendency to implement solutions, working very quickly to get things done. As you notice, some of the themes within this category, achiever, consistency, deliberative, discipline, these are people who want to get things done in a very timely fashion. The second category is influencing. And again, with people who are influencers, they're people who want to make a difference within society. They want to maximize people. They want to build people's strengths and communicate effectively, and also win people over, which is what WOO stands for. The third category is relationship building. These individuals are the glue of the team. They're the ones who have amazing empathy when conflict arises. They bring upon harmony, positivity. And so a lot of times these individuals are what make teams work. And then the fourth category is strategic thinking. They're the brainstormers. They're always thinking ahead. What could the future be like? Always coming up with new ideas, as well as details and information. So when you think about all 4 of these categories, working together, all 4 of these areas make an amazing team. But don't worry about being part of all 4. In fact, you most likely aren't. Look at all 5 of your top themes and figure out where you are within these domains. In your handout, you will be given a list of these domains as well as their descriptions. Then answer the following questions. Which domain is most dominant for you specifically? Is there one where you have several strengths within one of those domains? Secondly, in which domain are you least dominant? Third, have you been maximizing your dominant domain? So for instance, are your peers and supervisors, maybe your colleagues, aware of your talents and strengths in this domain? And also, how are you using these strengths in this domain currently? And then finally, based on the least dominant domain, how could you start partnering with others who have strengths in this domain? You don't have to be able to work within all 4 of these domains, but start thinking about how you could partner up with individuals to build upon those strengths. So again, take a few moments, pause the video, and then we will continue. When thinking about your strengths, we also have to think about this overlap on this Venn diagram. So you do have your talents, what makes you unique, but you also have to consider what you're interested in or what you're passionate about. What do you love to do and what gives you energy on a daily basis? And then finally, you have to think, what does that actual career require? What will you be doing every single day? When you're able to align all 3 of these areas and find that sweet spot in the middle, You will start being able to see trends in different types of careers that might be a good fit for you. We encourage you to continue doing research on your personal strengths. Within your profile, within the Strengths portal, you'll be able to find the following documents along with your theme report that we've already looked at. You'll be able to find the Insight Guide, and then we also encourage you to do the Action Planning Guide. All of these are downloadable and are editable from a PDF standpoint. In addition, the Clifton Strengths for Students ebook is completely free. You can download this ebook and actually read full chapters on each of your 5 theme areas. We encourage you to do this to, again, continue building your understanding of strengths and how you can start incorporating those every single day. I hope you've enjoyed this session. Feel free to connect with us if you have additional questions. We will be glad to review your strengths with you, to answer questions about how you can start integrating them on a daily basis into your career as well as your education.